Hey everyone, I'm Angela from Angela Wolf Video, and this is Video Tech Tuesdays, where we talk about video tech specs and gear. I come live almost every Tuesday at 1 o'clock on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and we just talk fun things about video cameras, pretty much. Let me move that for a minute. And so what are we doing today? Today I wanted to go over time-lapse videos because they're really fun to do, and I had a chance to make a couple fun ones this past weekend on my shoot, and I thought, why not share some knowledge about how to get your settings just right on the Canon 5D. So I'm using the 5D Mark IV, standard DSLR. I'm not really a Sony person, so I don't know how to do that on a Sony. So just today I'm showing you how to do it on the Canon, and maybe it translates, maybe it doesn't. But if you have a Canon DSLR, this should probably get you right where you want to go. So as per usual, if you're watching this and you have any questions, please just comment. And if you're watching this not live and you still have questions, use the hashtag replay so I know that I didn't get a chance to answer your question, and I will answer it next week. Let me make sure we are all good to go per usual. And so I'm using, as I said, my 5D Mark IV. I'm going to show you the menus to help you get through all the menu settings. And then we're going to kind of get into some of the funness. All right, so let me switch over. Now, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, the screen's going to look a little small. I have it set up so that everyone on Instagram can see the full screen. Otherwise, the 9:16 ratio wasn't going to make sense. So let's see if my audio will follow me. There we go. Sorry about that. So here's my little cork board and some flowers. So first things first, you want to make sure that you are in video mode. All right, so you can see up at the top left, I've got the little video camera. If I hit the start stop button, it records. So I'm in video mode. That's number one key. Second thing you're going to need to know, not all what is it called? Canon 5Ds come with C-Log. I paid extra to get C-Log onto my camera. So if you have C-Log, you need to turn it off for time-lapse. It doesn't work for time-lapse. I'm not quite sure why they don't want you to use it, but they won't let you use it. So let's go back, and we turned off our C-Log and we turned us into video mode. Now you're going to want to set up the shot the exact what you want. So let's say this is on my shot. I'm going to turn off my autofocus. That's a big one too. Make sure your autofocus is off. And I'm going to just kind of set my settings. So I'm like, all right, that looks like that's in focus. You know, fix up my white balance. Make sure you have your, well, oops, we don't like to change shutter speed. I've talked about that in the past. Check your f-stops, all that fun stuff, and your ISO. All right, let's say, cool, that's my picture. I like that. Obviously, for time-lapse, you need something that's going to have motion in it. So something like a street, or maybe like sunset, something like that. So obviously this is not a time-lapse video we would actually want to watch because nothing's happening in it. But this is just what I've got in my office to work with today. So let's say we set all of our settings. This looks perfect. Again, make sure you are not on any auto, because auto is going to change throughout and it's just not going to look good. So manually set everything. Looks good, ready to go. Now we're going to go back to our menu, and we're going to go into the camera menu and then go over to number 5. Now we want to do our time lapse. Oh my goodness. All right, this is what happens when I try to be fancy. So it won't let me show you the menus because I'm in HDMI. Does this help? Nope. All right. So when you're set up to an HDMI, apparently you can't do them. So let me switch off, bring you back over here with me so I can show you all my fun menu settings. Ooh, let's see how good I am at this. Every once in a while, I'm like, look at me being tricky, and then technology doesn't want to work with me. All right, so we have time-lapse movie. Going to hit the disable. We're going to go into enable. And now you see that there's intervals, right? We have different numbers of shots. And it actually is really nice that you don't have to do any math. The first one is the interval. So that's how often it takes a picture. Right now it's set to 2 seconds. Number of shots. So it's set to taking 332 shots. And now does the math and tells you it will take 11 minutes and 2 seconds to film this time lapse. And at the end of it, you're only going to get an 11-second clip. So it gives you all of this information, which is really wonderful. And that way you can time it out and say, how long do you feel like hanging out? How long do you want the video to be? And what you do is then you hit that button at the bottom, and this is how you can go around and change all these settings. And as you change it, you see the number, you change it and boop, it recalculates everything for you, which is really nice. Just make sure you hit the OK button. I'm trying so hard. There we go. And now it's enabled. And you see our settings are set there. So, whew, that's exciting. The faster the motion is, the shorter the time intervals should be. The slower the motion, the longer the time intervals should be, right? So 3 to 5 seconds is probably, one picture every 3 to 5 seconds is probably good for like a sunset. Sunsets, I usually like to set up 15-20 minutes before sunset, let it roll 15-20 minutes after sunset, right? So do like 40 minutes, set it to like 3 to 5 seconds a picture. If you're doing something that's fast motion like traffic, I'd set it to 1 or 2 seconds. And then you're only going to need, again, recording. Usually I record for about a half an hour, or I record to get, it depends on what you're using it for, right? If you want like a 30-second clip, you gotta just do the math or let the computer do the math for you, right? I basically don't do anything less than 10 seconds. I think in life, just time lapse or otherwise, 10 seconds is the minimum you need for a video clip, or else you're not going to have a chance to edit it and use it for anything. So make sure when you're recording that your final time lapse video will be at least 10 seconds long. Now, let me see if I can do this for you. Once we have that enabled, perfect. Now you're going to go, oh no, this is going to be terrible because you're going to see my face. Going to hit, it's enabled, so we're going to hit the play button. Can you read that? So it gives you on-screen directions. The on-screen directions are a little confusing to me. So I suggest going through this once by yourself, or rewatching this. This is going to be up on YouTube. You know, replay this while you're doing it on your camera with me, just so you can test it out first. So you're making sure you're hitting all the buttons in the right sequence. So it says test and set your exposure by hitting the shutter button to take a test shot. Then hit the stop and start record button to get ready to shoot. All right, that's the key, to get ready. So first thing we want to do, we're here at this menu. First thing you want to do, we're going to take our test shot. So you just hit the shutter button to get rid of that menu. Then you hit the shutter button again, and it's going to take a test shot for you. And then you're going to get this message again. Hit the OK button. It goes away. You're going to hit, trying to show you guys because they didn't want to be fancy today. We're going to hit the start and stop button. And now it says, you get this message, start and stop by hitting the shutter speed. So it's not taking anything yet. I still have to hit the shutter button. and now it's taking the video. Now it's doing my time lapse. It goes black on the back screen when you're doing the time lapse. Don't worry, this is how you know it's working. Whoop. Trying to get that in focus. Up at the top of your, there we go. At the top of your like display on the top of the Canon, it's going to actually be counting down. Those are my dogs in the background, as usual. So they're counting down every shot it takes. So it says 613, and then it goes down 612 and 611. And so that's how many shots are left. It counts it down for you. So you can actually just sit and watch and see how much time you have left for your time lapse, right? So that's really nice. It's going to be black on the back. You can just read the screen on the top to make sure that it's still going. Now, the key to a good time-lapse video, first, like I said, is make sure you get all your manual settings put together. And then second is not to move. So, you know, think of like the old school stop motion where it's like, and it kind of like looks a little funky. It's an aesthetic, but I think what's really nice for, and what a lot of people are looking for time-lapse videos are like that whoosh, that just like gliding, fast-paced motion that just feels like beautiful, right? So to do that, do not touch the camera. Like, do not let someone breathe on the camera. Just don't try to adjust anything. When it's in its mode, you just let it go, right? Do not touch it. Do not touch anything in frame. Do not move anything. Unless, of course, that's part of the motion, right? So you want to set up your camera on a tripod or on something stationary so that it doesn't move. You don't have to hold it. You don't have to touch it. And then you just let it go and do not touch it until it's done. It will automatically stop taking the live stream. That's what we're doing now. It will automatically stop doing the time lapse when it's done. So there's no need for you to hit the stop button. There's no need for you to touch it until the screen pops back up. You can see the screen on the back, and there's no more counter on the top display. So that's how you'll know. Now, for some weird reason, you started it, you didn't want to, this is not what you're doing right now. To stop it, just hit the start and stop button again. And then the screen pops up and you've stopped. Now, let's see if it'll cooperate. I'm gonna switch you back over. There we go. Oh, you don't need to see all my snacks I have up here. All right. So if you go into the play menu, it's gonna play it back as a full video. So they take pictures, and then inside the camera, it puts it together into a movie for you, so you don't have to do any of that in post. So this is gonna look really funky because we didn't set it and forget it. But this is kind of like, there's my my time lapse. See, I was trying to show you guys all the stuff, then we have that set down, and then nothing's moving. But that's basically how it looks and what it looks like. So, some really fun, quick things you can do once you master all those settings. The Ronin S has a really fun time-lapse setting. I don't plug it into my camera because I think it just gets confused that way. So I put my camera on the Ronin S, and you can set it in the create function on the app, on the Ronin app. You can set your point A and point B. You set what your intervals are and how long you're going to be filming. So all that information is on your camera. It tells you, you set every 2 seconds, and it's, you set how many shots you want to take, and then it tells you how long it's going to go. So you're going to tell, the Ronin 2 seconds for 30 minutes. Start at point A, end at point B, and then you just walk away, and it will do a really fun motion shot timed out to your time lapse. It's really neat. So then you get not only the fun motion of like the street going by, but you also get like a very smooth, beautiful camera movement, which is like really hard to do by hand. So that's some fun extra stuff you can do with a time lapse once you kind of graduate from the normal, like just like tripod time lapse. So I would highly suggest doing it for, I like to post them on Instagram. They're really great. Humility Hums is a great Etsy shop that posts time-lapse videos of her making all the stuff that she sells on Etsy. So that's really a great thing to do for brands, to like show how you do art, to show your production process. It's really great for real estate to do, you know, again, those, you know, beautiful sunset time lapses. So there's a lot of fun things you can do with it. And I think it's just something good to play around with. So all of that being said, I hope everyone has a wonderful week ahead. We've got some gorgeous weather in Philly today. And please comment. Let me know if you have any questions, what your video tech questions are, and I will answer them. So until next Tuesday at 1 o'clock, have a wonderful week. Thanks, everyone.